Wow. Well, 10 years has flown by since Rupert Murdoch handed me my fellowship. It's great to be back here. I have a great passion for the organisation, so much so that I was quite happy to fly on United and not Murdoch One to get here. So good evening. It's great to be with you all. As I was preparing for tonight and thinking about the AAA and honouring this year's Excellent Education Fellows, I thought we could take a moment and think about the AAA's mission. It's truly one of impact. Cultural, political, economic, and of course, educational impact, achieved through creating meaningful exchange between Australia and the US. And if you look at the AAA's homepage, and you actually click through to the About Us section, you see this picture, if it comes up. There it is. It's a dinner in New York filled with men and women in evening dress in 1949 to honour H.V. Evatt. Now, how many of you know who he is or his story? Good. Perhaps one of the important questions for those of you that didn't clap was, what is that story and what does it tell us? Now, Bert, as his family called him, and Doc in popular culture, was one of these just outstandingly gifted individuals, like the fellows here tonight, that we've just seen on stage. He had 4 degrees from the University of Sydney, where he won 3 university medals. He went on to be the youngest High Court Justice in Australia's history at the age of 36, a former leader of the Australian Labor Party opposite Menzies, and he was the 3rd President of the UN General Assembly. There he led, in part, the construction of the Jewish State of Israel and presided over the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which he helped co-draft. Now, what may be less well known about Doc was that this vast, vast achievement began with a scholarship, the Horn Scholarship. It provided him room and board at St Andrews College at the University of Sydney. Without it, Doc would not be Doc, or Esquire, or the Right Honourable, or certainly not President. As Justice Kirby notes, he would not have gone to university. So the impact of that £50 scholarship on the individual, on Australia, and the world is difficult to fully wrap my head around, and I'm sure you're having difficulty with that too. But as a venture capitalist now, my gut tells me that that is one hell of a return. Now, I've built up your expectations and perhaps reinforced the aspirations of our fellows here tonight. So I'll bring us back down to earth and tell you a little bit of my story since receiving the AAA Macquarie Group Scholarship to Stanford University's Graduate School of Business. This fellowship provided me the opportunity to move from academia, where I had a small laboratory and taught genetics to undergraduates at the University of Cambridge in the United Kingdom, towards the commercialisation of technology and science in Silicon Valley. It was the result of my search for personal impact. And now, when I made that move, I had just discovered a key component of the drug resistance mechanism in malaria. And this was personally significant because I had been to South Africa as a Royal Society ambassador and seen the devastation with over 1 million toddlers being killed by it each year. It was very satisfying work, and we received a good bit of recognition for it, but I was really frustrated by the timelines of transforming that basic research into social impact. And I think at the end of the day, it was that helplessness of not being able to make a difference fast enough that was truly uncomfortable for me. And so it made the search for an alternative imperative, and I found it in the timeframes of venture-backed technology companies. So my AAA fellowship allowed me to move from one time frame for impact to another, faster one. And it embedded me in Silicon Valley and gave me the chance to work with top-tier financial institutions that power that entrepreneurial ecosystem. It also gave me the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. While working at Kleiner Perkins, one of the Valley VC firms, I co-founded a company that's using data science to re-engineer the agricultural breeding paradigm. And when I received my fellowship, Rupert did say if I started anything, I should give him an option to invest. We have just closed the Series A. It's oversubscribed, but we can talk after this. A part of it's, most recently though, I've now co-founded a $100 million venture capital fund that's focused on agricultural technologies. Part of its strategy has been to act as a bridge between US capital and global ideas. We have offices in California, the Midwest, Israel, and Ireland. We've seen some great early success, both in our investor base, with groups from the US and Australia investing, as well as our portfolio companies, such as Plenty, that has just raised $200 million from the SoftBank Vision Fund to reinvent the global food supply chain. Now, reflecting though on the entire journey so far, I've realized from my entrepreneurial activity, from Silicon Valley, from the fund that I've created and its mandate, just how important the strategy overall of the AAA is in bridging between the US, Australia, and other nations. It's been very important for me to strive to connect with those nations and to solve big problems. So now let us turn back. We're at the business end of the dinner, and let's focus on a group of people having dinner in New York, some in evening dress. You all, here, tonight, are an even more important group than the previous one that I showed you on that slide. Because you will help determine the veracity of the AAA's legacy that was set in motion by Keith Murdoch and those in that photo in 1949, and have been carried by each group having dinner in New York since then. You are the stewards of potential impact. You will determine if there is an additional scholarship that, like docs, will increase the security of the world, that will increase the wealth of the world, and that will provide an individual the chance to be a partner in that impact. Thank you.